Vincenzo's Go Crypto Investing this June the 20th, 2025, mid-afternoon altcoin daily cryptocurrency and blockchain technology video that you've come to expect, love, need, and deserve from the number one and one of the only institutions and channels and investment companies, not a financial advisor, created and made specifically and for the retail trader and investor, you, to help you become asset millionaires like I am on my way to becoming an asset millionaire via steady 401k investing, gold and silver bullion and mining stocks, uh, cryptocurrencies, and real estate, and along with the cash, earning 5% interest a year because you always have to have some dry powder for emergencies, peace of mind, and accumulating new assets and accumulating more of your existing assets. But that's what we do here. Join Jabroni Killer's video description and or pin comments. It's the cheapest and best value. You can see I have a growing list of Jabroni Killer members. Artie Lopez, I do hope DGB goes down to 0.005, which is, we'll look at a technical target, the Rex eyebrow, J, and that is one of our technical targets that we have from a head and shoulders topping out reversal pattern from back in. And we'll actually look at that right now, DGB in our altcoin update, right? You can see this is the head and shoulder pattern that we were talking about back then on the correction, right? You can see that when there was a lot of hype coming from this big extended bull market or big pump from the Donald Trump rally, we got on board here when you guys started asking me about it. We figured out this was a head and shoulders. We identified a neckline that was just above an uptrending 200-day moving average in the daily. You can see we went from the top of the head to the neckline, which gave us at a point of a breakout a targeted move down here at 0.005. And you can see where we're at now. We're below this major support resistance level at the 0.00837. We've had our bearish cross. We have our short-term moving average on the bottom. We have our medium-term or 100-day in the middle, and we have our 200-day or long-term on top, which signifies a very long bear trend. And if we actually zoom out into here, a lot of people have gotten fleece heisted and shisted by this coin, and you can see what we're talking about because we were on the air, and this channel for the retail trader tried to warn, tried to protect, and tried to help back here that this had to come down after this COVID pump and there was going to be a big bear market. And you can see the volume has went almost to nothing, and the price has been consistently in the shit house ever since. And if we go take our industry exclusive measuring tool, people that weren't listening to my warning anywhere up in here before you had the first massive drop, anyone that bought the high, you've been fleece heisted and chisted 97.08% from top to bottom, and at current price 94.82%. And it's been 4 years and you haven't come close. And if you weren't listening and you got fleeced and shisted by these criminal and infiltrators, sites and YouTube insiders that are on the social media, and you were watching and found a channel, anyone talking about DGB besides me back here said this thing was going to the moon, said even if it had a slight correction, 4 or 5 years, especially from then, you were going to be 10 to 20x up. It might be over $1. Instead, you're sitting back here and you're struggling to get any footing, and it's been nothing but consistently down. So that was a very, very big call by old Vincenzo and a very big warning that most of you guys did not heed and did not take advantage or listen to because you were fleeced by your emotional uh, manipulation, right? But I still believe that is going to come back down there, and we're below this critical support level, which we were talking about when you were had a miniature uh, pump to the upside back here in late April, May, and June, that if we got back below this 007837, that we were going to come straight down to the 00560 technical target, right, with the DGB. So that still looks to me what we're in. So thank you for the comment. Artie Lopez, and he reminds me of Arturo Lang Jr., the famous comedian that had a drug and alcohol problem, but was very funny Italian. God bless you, brother. Thank you too. Uh, this guy was talking about my Me Guy bike review, and thank you for nearly 3 years later commenting on that. Thank you for all the TA, the Gateman 999. Well, I appreciate you being a member of Jabroni Killers. Uh, he commented that BTC is better than gold. I would disagree with that. uh, old XRP future millionaire, my brother. We're talking about now that I'm in town, maybe once a month, I can head to his house and maybe we can have a dual live stream. We've had a lot of talk and a lot of people asking why we've never collaborated a video together because they think it would be a good idea, and I think, and he thinks, XRP Future Millionaire thinks it would be a good idea. So I'm going to try to force his hand and peer pressure him into actually doing it. We'll have a little cocktail hour. I'll go over there. We'll both live stream on our channels and discuss the state of crypto, some mining stocks, what we feel about the US dollar, and money devaluation and investing. And I think a question and answers, I think it would be very good. And if you're seeing this, XRP Future Millionaire, comment down into the comment section to let your fans and my fans and the audience at large know that you are on board and you would definitely be interested in me maybe once a month coming over for an hour or two and uh, bullshitting our way, and talking to the community and trying to expand and trying something new, as I think it would be very interesting. XRP Ripper, thank you for supporting the channel. Uh, then we had one on here that I don't know where the comment went. He was asking a Jabroni Killer member about XRP healthcare, which is at a very interesting area. XRP healthcare. It's sitting down here below, and if we take a look at what was going on here with the XRP healthcare in the daily time frame, you can see still don't want to buy anything, trucks, whatever, don't want to buy. You can see XRP healthcare has been on a consistent rising channel for quite some time now, where we've had upper resistance, uptrending resistance, uptrending lower support, right? See this? Clone. We've had consistent uptrending lower support, and every time it's bounced, but you can see the last time it came out of this, it actually came down to this green underneath support before it bounced up and then got back in. You see it faked out, and then you can see where it powered back in. It tried to trade out, got back in, traded along it, and then skyrocketed. Come on, skyrocketed back in to the trading zone, right? That might be what we're doing here. You can see we're just above, which would be the next zone. This green support area would be, if it's going to repeat what it just did, you would come down to this 0.04948 and then have another hyper bounce. And then you would have to bounce off of this, come back in, and then fight back in and then shoot up, just like you did back there, right? But you can see after you hit this upper resistance, you came back down into the mean of the consolidation right here. Just like after this last pump right here, this green zone is into the mean of the last consolidation. So if you're going to rinse, wash, and repeat XRP healthcare, you would be looking to do something like that. And then coming out here into the future, out into August, September, you'd be looking to come back up into upper resistance. If you're looking to just repeat what you've done the last couple of times in this rising channel, if this is a pattern breakdown in this rising channel, the technical target would be where the channel began, and that would be down there at about the 0.015. So that's what I'm looking at in XRP healthcare. That was a comment from a member, Jabroni Killers. If we look at some IOTA, we're just going to go look at some of these coins. IOTA's same thing. You can see we're breaking down. Uh, where we've had the bearish cross, extremely bearish. You can see the short-term moving averages are on the bottom, and the daily and the long-term moving averages are on the top. And we've been talking about recently in the short term, after we came back up here, we were going to break back down more than likely. We're sitting at the 16 cents, something that we talked about. And we said, if you can't hold this and get back above these moving averages and you slip below this major resistance zone, you'll come straight down to the 0.0986, right about the 10 cent underneath support that we've been following underneath there for quite some time, and a spot that it did come back down to after the 2024 dump before that massive up to 62-cent rally from the Donald Trump induced pump. We've been talking about, since it's traded down, that if you got back into this range, this box, it would quickly trade back to the bottom part of this range. And then if we couldn't hold it after a brief bounce, you would expect you would come straight back to a 100% full lateral flush. And that's what we're watching for in the IOTA. I don't know why I said ALGO there. I meant to say IOTA. The VLO's the same thing. I was in this bearish pattern. We identified it for you, and we talked about it at nauseum when we were at a false breakout up here back in January. That if it broke back into this rising wedge, we would come back down to underneath support near the 0.016234 level. It did. Then it broke down out of it and it's traded sideways ever since. About late February, and we said if it continues and confirms a breakdown, your underneath technical target of a rising wedge is where it started back nearly 3.5 years ago in 2022 to beginning of 2023, which would be down here at the point 002429, and that's something that we're watching out for. The Matic is the same thing. This has been a fleece heisting and shisting coin and market manipulated by the heisters and the criminals that manipulate the market on social media for when you go search and try to find a truth and trustful source online. You get all the manipulators and fleecers. And if you got fleeced by this because all the BitBoy cryptos and all those type of guys were hoisting and scanning this as the next big thing, you're now 93.69% at current price. Since then, and you've been nothing but getting fleeced and you've been rejected. You can see you had that fake out back to the upside, got rejected, got rejected by uh what coin were we in? What coin were we talking about? Sons of bitches. IOTA maybe? No. What were we talking about? IOTA? Oh, Matic, my bad. Matic. You've been fleece heisted and shisted the whole time on Matic since the coin came out. We still do not want to buy you, and that's how I know this video is getting longer. You can see that. Then you got rejected on the false breakout back to the upside, and we're in price discovery. This was an all-time low there, and that is something that we predicted back in 2011 or 2021 when this thing was way up there. And if this thing breaches the old low, it's in price discovery to the downside, and there is no stopping it for how low it could go. EGLD, I know nothing about. I just know it was brought to my attention back during the COVID or back during the Donald Trump breakout to the upside, but we said you do not buy a pump. We had underneath targets, and our next target on a breakdown from here is $6.20. ZBCN is the same thing, but this thing broke massively to the upside. But you can see this one had a steady increase in volume, which is something that was interesting, and that was something that could have highlighted a potential breakout in the future. But like we said, you do not buy the pump, and now we're trading back to the moving averages in the daily time frame. And now what you would look for is if you break the 50-day moving average, you're going to trade down to the 100-day. If you break the 100-day, you're going to trade down to the 200-day. And if you break the 200-day, you would come all the way back down to the 0.001 and change. I'm not a big fan of buying the move. If you were trying to accumulate this, you should have been doing that for the last couple of years. Like the channel, subscribe. Peace and love. The Rex Eyebrow. Jay.